Today at Smooth Radio, let's welcome back one of this country's most successful recording artists, one of this country's most prolific and inspiring songwriters.
Who have you got coming in?
At some point, let me do the intro.
No.
He's not going to let me do the intro.
No. Who have you got coming in? You said prolific.
So, well, yeah, I think you are reasonably prolific. I know it's 8 years between the last album and this one. At some points in his career, he's been the most played artist on British radio. That's not to mention worldwide. He is going to complete the tour he started last year, but right now we're talking about the new single, White Light. George Michael, good to see you.
Good to see you again.
The press release you sent out at the end of June for White Light was a letter to fans and journos and friends, and I sensed a real sort of sense of gratitude, a humility in that letter. Very different from a normal press release blurb.
Well, it was really. I mean, I read the what was supposed to go out, and I just thought, no, I don't want to have to tell people how many records I've sold and list all the things that they normally list, you know. And it's just a normal biog type thing. I just wanted to say thank you to people, really, and say thank you for still having any interest whatsoever after 30 years. It's quite amazing. I mean, I never dreamt of a 30-year career. I just wanted to be on top of the pops. It's simple. That was the height of my dreaming, really. I wouldn't have expected, and funnily enough, I wouldn't have expected in my early teens to mid-teens to be a star in America, because we weren't. The British were not selling in America at the time. It was actually my generation of bands that led the kind of second wave of British invasion, which luckily we're going through again now, I think.
Absolutely.
You know, the Americans are really wanting to know what we're doing now.
We hear this amazing optimism all over the lyric for White Light, which I've heard you say is one of the best dance records you've ever made.
Well, I think it is. I think it's got a genuine sense of elation. We've got some great remixes. I'm not normally a fan of the whole remix process. Now, having listened to a lot more house music in recent years, I'm more respectful of it, and I really kind of gone out of my way to try to find really good mixes, you know, and we've got plenty of them. We've got about 7 great mixes. I think it's just an amazing thing that something so dark such a dark situation can still be turned into joy.
It was an extraordinary time for your family and people who love you and care about you, but did you, either during or you must have shortly afterward, had the sense of how much the fans were thinking of you, praying for you?
Yes, I did. I got a sense of that when I got home just before Christmas and made my little speech there. That's only the second time I've ever kind of even welled up in public. I once cried because at 20, I received Best Songwriter Ivor Novello from Elton, which was like surreal in itself. I'd only just made Elton, and I did actually cry on the podium. But other than that, the closest I've come was just being home for Christmas and being so glad, one, to be out of that hospital room, which was a 5.5-week ordeal, and two, that it was Christmas, you know, and I was going to spend it with my family, and I might not have been there at all, you know.
Very powerful emotions.
Oh, it was, the whole of this year until now there's not a day I don't think about it, you know. Yeah. And I'm still in some ways in recovery mentally, but thank God I've counterbalanced it with just making loads of music. I've been recording. It never occurred to me that I would have an album out this year until I wrote White Light. And then I suddenly kind of thought about, I think I told you about this last year, about how much material I wrote when I came out of prison. You know, all these little blips in my life. Prison, nearly dying, you know. Oh, there's another hit record. But no, it didn't occur to me until I wrote White Light that I had to have a new album out this year, because I felt so powerfully that this song, as a thank you, in a way, needed to come soon. And it wasn't going to go on the album that I thought I was mixing, which was the Symphonica album, which I've now put on hold. I'm doing more shows. Obviously, I'm making up for those shows this year. And we'll put some new songs into the set so that album can be hopefully even better than the one that I was mixing earlier in the year. I haven't tried to write hit songs in this way since Faith, probably. In other words, they don't tap you on the shoulder, many of them. You know, they're pretty immediate. And maybe something to do with turning 50. Well, I'm not turning 50.
That's next year.
That's next year. But knowing that I'm getting close anyway. Actually, thing is, everybody thinks, most people think I'm older than I am, because they think I'm Madonna's age, Prince's age, but I was 5 years younger than them when we were all successful together. So I'm still 49.
Yeah. Is your voice just as good as it was? You didn't have any problem with the tracheotomy that was part of your life saving?
No, do you want to see me, Scarlett? You want to see me, Scarlett?
They've done quite a good job of that.
They've done quite a good job. And I was thinking of, having it worked on. You can work on scars. But actually, one day a couple of weeks ago, I was looking in the mirror and thinking, this is a perfect way of reminding yourself every day when you look in the mirror how lucky you are to be alive. So I've left it alone. And anyway, it'll just fold into all the other wrinkles another couple of years. Do you know what I mean?
You're keeping yourself in good shape, though, yeah?
Yeah.
You've spoken...
A little too good shape, actually, in the terms of being well department, because when I came out of hospital, they just said, calories, calories, calories. You got it, because I was so skinny. And they were like, calories, calories. Just pump yourself full of calories, which was great fun.
I bet it was.
But I think I took it a little bit too far. And now I'm kind of desperately trying to lose some weight before the tour.
You've spoken in the past about being reminded about how lucky you are. Are there also times when you've not recognized that, when you've not realized it, or you've chosen not to?
Oh yeah, there are plenty of, when I'm down, I can look at all the cons, let's say, about fame. It's very easy to, I think there is a loneliness to fame beyond a certain level, which, it's easy to become the victim of, and I think in my lowest moments I've felt that, like, oh my God, if I wasn't George Michael, I wouldn't be going through this or that or whatever. But then it doesn't take much to me. You only have to turn on the telly and realise what lucky sod you are.
Well, and everybody goes through stuff,
Yeah.
You don't have to be famous and
no, absolutely
hyper successful pop star or actress or model. Talking of which, Kate Moss is in this remarkable video. Yeah. Kate Moss, a bunch of beautiful people, and a zebra.
Yeah, have you seen the video? Yeah, you've seen it. I thought she did an amazing job. She looks incredible. She always looks incredible. But she kind of represented, in a strange way, she represented my mother. I know that sounds odd, but any boy who loves his mum and loses his mum remembers her as the most beautiful woman in the world, really. And that's how I see, in my mind's eye, that's how I see my mother. And I thought there was a kind of, well, if she's going to be a metaphor, let her just be a metaphor for that, in a way. I mean, I know it's a very strange and it's a very odd metaphor, but I really genuinely, it occurred to me, well, why not actually employ the woman who's considered the most beautiful woman in the world to save your life, And I think she does a great job.
On the toss of a coin. Well worth seeing the video. Couple of final questions. The Olympics closing ceremony. You are doing that, yes?
Everyone's saying this now, and I haven't signed the contract because they're incredibly difficult. They are being incredibly difficult. That's all I can say. But the plan, yes, that is the plan.
Those who couldn't get to see Symphonica now get to see that tour for the rest of this year, including the people in Vienna. And all the Brits who...
Yeah, the first night in Vienna, I'm playing in the front row will be the 3 or 4 gentlemen that literally spent 3 weeks trying to save my life, and that will be very emotional for me. Very emotional.
George Michael, thanks very much.
Cheers, bye.
I'm alive. I'm alive.